This subsection is having a look at the dangers of a driver simply following others. In the animation, we'll see two vehicles exiting from a side road, and as they do so, the driver of the red vehicle just follows what the driver ahead of him is doing. So assumes that because this driver was able to exit the side road safely without any incident, that he now automatically is safe to follow suit without bothering to check at all. And so ends up in a collision. So you find that people often do that. They think that because what the driver ahead of them is doing, that it's then safe for them to do the same. But that's a fatal assumption to make on the roads. And we've just got a couple of real life clips to demonstrate this. In this real life clip then, we'll see that there's a vehicle exiting from the side road over here. The driver behind this vehicle now assumes that it's safe to do the same. The reason we can conclude that is because the driver of this vehicle doesn't take note of vehicles coming from both directions, both from this side and the opposite side, and despite that, still continues to progress. As we advance the video, you see that this driver doesn't either slow down or speed up, which means that they haven't noticed either of these vehicles, and so had just blindly then followed what the vehicle ahead of it was doing. So we've got to be careful of either others doing that, just acting as sheep, following those ahead of them, but we also don't want to fall into that same trap where a driver ahead of us carries out a maneuver, and so we think or we assume that it's safe for us to do the same. In this next real life clip, the danger of a driver just following those ahead of him or her is proportionately increased by the number of vehicles that actually carry out that maneuver. So what I mean by that is that we've got 1, 2, 3, and then 4 vehicles in line to turn left. So once this vehicle had turned, the driver behind him had a greater likelihood of doing the same, whereas the driver behind him now, the third in line, seeing both vehicles successfully cross the road, the proportion or the risk is even greater now in that this driver would assume that 2 vehicles ahead of him had crossed the road safely, and so is even more safe for him to do so. And subsequently, the driver of the red vehicle would assume to an even greater extent that now 3 vehicles had successfully crossed the road, that it's now very safe for him to do the same. So just bear that in mind. Where you see a succession of vehicles crossing the road, realize that each driver in that line is more likely then to cross the road, assuming that the number of vehicles ahead of it had done so successfully. Let's run this clip. So there you can see quite a bit of impact, and who knows what happened to the occupants of this vehicle. It was quite a force that the truck had struck the vehicle, so we don't want to land up in a situation like this. I just want to run the clip again because there's something else that I want to demonstrate in this collision, and it's more a technical thing discussing the mechanics of an impact. So let's do that, and I'll just run it frame by frame to discuss a point with you. It's going to advance it. Now you'll notice that the truck connected with the car right on the corner, front left corner of the vehicle, and that was a lot safer than had the truck actually connected the vehicle perpendicular to the vehicle. So if the vehicle was more at right angles to the truck, and the truck then connected with the side of the vehicle as opposed to the corner of the vehicle, the impact would have been a lot greater. Because what happens in a case like this, where the end of the vehicle is caught, either the front corner or the rear corner, is that a lot of that impact energy then goes into spinning the vehicle around. Whereas if the truck had caught the vehicle squarely on the side, there wouldn't have been any kinetic energy or energy through movement having dissipated via that movement of the vehicle, but instead the vehicle itself would have taken the full force of the impact, the main brunt of the impact. But as we advance it frame by frame, now notice that the vehicle is being spun around. So a lot of the energy goes into the rotation of the vehicle instead. And so the occupants hopefully were more fortunate in that the truck actually caught the vehicle on the corner as opposed to broadsiding it square on. Please like, subscribe, and get notified.